Call the workshop to order.
Yes, there you go.
This is a workshop for FDOT to provide an update on the Highway 319 corridor project and to present the 30% plans.
I'm happy to believe so.
There you go. Oop.
Yeah, that's good. Take it away, sir.
Good afternoon. Hopefully we're going to miss a hurricane today, or this weekend. Just to give you an update, I'm Greg Allen with Atkins, and Clay Hunter with H&TB. He's the project manager for DOT. Which button is it?
Far right hand.
That's what I'm hitting.
Other way.
The other side? That one?
Not working?
It's amazing.
Yes,
It's State Road 61, 369, but where's 319 come in?
It was off. That right hand one.
Well, the project limits haven't changed since we talked last, so just north of Lost Creek Bridge up to just south of East Ivan Road. We're connecting to the job to the south that's being designed now, and the one to the north that's already been designed by Econ. We have submitted 30% plans. We've received the comments, we've responded to them, and now we're approaching 60% plans, which will be in October. Y'all will get a copy of those as well. Nothing's really changed with these. We're trying to improve the level of service, meet future traffic volumes for the area, roadways. We're going to try to minimize right-of-way impacts and maintain access to all the businesses and residents. That can be a challenge when you add a median, of course. That's the design from the design guidelines that Kimberly Horn was produced. Basically, we're trying to meet some of those, but as we discussed with some of your staff,
What's the total width of the right of way on that one, Greg?
it's roughly 120 to 130 feet. It varied, but it was going to be a sizable amount of right-of-way needed to accommodate everything.
Can you expand that diagram?
This one here in particular,
You'll see a lot more of them.
I think as we move forward, you'll see a little bit more. But I do have a set of those 30% plans I can leave with you, and if you want to, I can be happy to stay afterwards and show you whatever you need to. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, before you go on, can we go back to that? Can you back up to the, right there? You said it's about 120 to 130? It's typical? That's
the typical that was prepared by Kimberly Horn. That was what was in y'all's planning document.
And what
we're trying to get to is we're roughly at 104 feet.
Okay.
Is our minimum.
Right of way acquisition,
We're still going to have right-of-way acquisition. There's really
but not a lot.
not a lot, not as much as before.
everything kind of north of the cemetery there, I think we have it, but south is like only 60 feet in this area.
Correct. South of MLK,
Right.
it's roughly only 60
That's
to
not a
66
very
feet
long stretch.
from Lost Creek Bridge up. Roughly
Well,
we're
the
going to.
60-foot right-of-way section, I'm saying, starts
stopped.
at about it starts at Wakulla News, roughly,
Mhm.
and it goes up just to the old Ace Hardware. That's the part that only has 60 feet.
Correct. So there, no matter what you're roughly buying 40 feet of right-of-way.
County office.
All right, let me see if I understand that. You come down 5 lanes to what point?
Our typical, we're going to start at Lost Creek Bridge, and we're going to start with a median there. We'll have 2 lanes in each direction,
Coming north.
coming north.
Lost Creek, you got
You'll
how many
have-
lanes in north?
You're going to have two lanes coming north and 2 lanes coming south.
Okay.
And we're adding a median.
You have a median?
We're going to have a median.
And how far does that come?
This typical ends right just south of Council Moore. The whole job is going to have 2 lanes north and 2 lanes south with a median.
Okay.
It's just going to vary. The median width's going to vary a little bit, and the sidewalk configuration is going to change a little bit. So from Lost Creek Bridge north of Council Moore, we're basically showing a 22-foot median, which is basically the standard DOT typical. Because we're having to buy right away anyway, we might as well make it a typical DOT roadway. Since we had to buy 40-plus feet of right away anyway, it really didn't matter a few feet here or there.
You're saying from Lost Creek to Council Moore?
Just south of Council Moore, that's where that
You already have
typical.
100 feet there, right?
For some of it. But then there's some of it that we only have 60. It seems to narrow.
I didn't know that.
And that's typical where we reduce the median width a little bit to try to save some of that right-of-way we spoke of, is from Council Moore north to Myrtle Avenue. And that the lane widths are 11 feet, so it'll be 2 lanes in each direction, so 4 lanes total. We'll have a 7-foot bike lane. We'll have a utility strip for part of it where we can fit it, and then we'll have a 5 to 6 foot sidewalk. And like, again, that 15.5-foot median, that's where we're shrinking a little bit from the standard to try to fit it within right-of-way where we don't purchase as many businesses or impact as many residences, businesses, or what have you.
That's from where to where, Greg?
That's from just south of Council Moore Road all the way to Myrtle Avenue,
Crossing the Ace.
which is basically in front of this area.
And it's on your, pull up on the computer, see it too.
Yeah. So basically that's through the downtown area, in front of the parks, the cemetery, main core area. Now north of Myrtle Avenue, we went back to a little bit wider median, which is 19.5. We still have the 2 lanes, 2 11-foot lanes in each direction, so there are a total of 4 lanes, the 7-foot bike lane, and the sidewalk, it moves directly adjacent to the back of curb.
And that's 101.5 feet minimum, and
Mhm.
there's already existing 100-foot right-of-way.
Correct.
All
So
that-
pretty much you're gonna need right of way a little bit the entire way.
But you don't anticipate wiping out any businesses along the corridor, you just need a couple feet here and there in the front of the
Correct.
place.
Correct.
That's a lot of the questions people have been having is.
Yeah, we're gonna try to preserve as many businesses. We don't want to wipe anybody out.
Utilities are gonna be an extreme challenge, I'm assuming.
Utilities are going to be difficult because, as you notice here, the sidewalk is adjacent to the back of curb, so really there's not much room to fit those utilities.
Are you, under
And
the
they'll be moving.
sidewalk?
There'll be some under the sidewalk, there'll be some right outside the sidewalk, and so.
It's a nightmare. Imagine having, every time you gotta do a tap for a sewer tap, you gotta cut the sidewalk up and, can you put them in the median?
I have seen projects where they put them in the median. That'll be all part of, at 60%, after we submit our 6% plans.
I'd rather rip the sidewalk up.
Well, yeah. I'm just thinking
I'd rather
about,
rip the sidewalk up, because if I got a problem, then I don't have to go across the road.
How do you get your turn lane? You get your turn lanes, of course, in your median.
Yes, sir.
So where you don't have turn lanes, you've got grass or whatever, or?
Yes, sir.
what about landscaping? I don't know if we're too early to even talk about that, but.
It is too early right now. We do have landscaping as a component of our contract. Right now, DOT has asked us to hold off on the landscaping. It was always going to be let as a separate contract. DOT, they get a better price with a separate contract.
We've advocated, I know I have, for that median to have something on it instead of just concrete, or, that'd be a good place to have some small trees or something to break it up.
We anticipate them making that a nice median with a nice landscape, but.
Happy Yard Drive comes to mind.
Mhm. But I did want to, today, one thing that we can talk about is those median openings. That probably is one of the most controversial things that we all deal with when we multi-lane a road and put a median up, is the turn lanes. And we'll have opportunities to talk about that with the public in a public meeting setting, as well as here. But we'll just go through it. What we provided in the 30% plans and what we have commented on is we've basically provided median openings along the project, and might be and directionals or fulls that basically provide access along the route. And it might, it's probably tough to just have comments right here, right at this second, right now, but you're welcome to take a look at it. I can leave hard copies of this.
So, for example, if you're going north, you will no longer be able to go to the dollar store anymore if you're northbound. That 18, station 1805, is that what it is? That's the dollar store right there. So now there's a median where you can't, if you're northbound, you cannot turn left.
Correct. And that's probably the biggest thing that we will have comments on.
Yeah, the question is, well, since you're talking like you're not going to talk about these median cuts, is it, how do you decide who was the winner and who was the loser? I mean,
So we always look at named roads, county roads to start with, and we look at we look at volumes. We observe volumes on those roads. We look at, like I said, for example, Council Moore had a directional in, and it is a circular route. We do know from the previous design that the hardware store down there had large trucks turning in, so we accommodated them with a left in and a left out there.
Only one cut though, so they can't loop back out like they can now. They had to go out the same.
That's what it looks like.
Yes.
And council.
Well, yeah, but go up to the next one, and all of a sudden, you gave a full median cut of
To
both ways.
to Harvey Mill Road, which has a subdivision in it, and it's
Well,
it's
no,
a
not
main
the
road.
Harvey Mill Road, you have it for a full median opening, go to the, yeah, right
Council
there.
Moore?
No, just before Council Moore, to the,
Dollar General to the right.
not to the Dollar General, that's the small engine repair and the appliance store. That's good.
And that's to accommodate basically a U-turn where they can turn around. It's not specifically for that business, where they can basically make a
But there's
U-turn.
nothing there.
Correct.
I mean, you gave it a full median cut and there's nothing there. Where I have stores down there that are in place, they're dependent on a median cut and they didn't get one. So I'm just trying to figure out what's your rules for giving a median cut. When you give one to absolutely nothing, I mean, the old appliance place that's closed down
That's
now.
Chuck trying to make gentle, nice suggestions, right, Chuck?
Right.
Yeah, we're not,
You're not complaining.
that's right, we're not complaining
The
here.
storage is directly across from Harvey Mill, correct? It has a full opening, and it has a left.
But go up from the Harvey Mill to the next slide,
Mhm.
okay? That
There's a
first
church.
full opening on that one, that's right by this,
Right here, Chuck.
Yeah,
that one, yes. There's nothing there.
Left turn, he says for people.
U-turn.
Chuck's asking, why don't you put that here, right?
Well, why would you put a full there and not a full at Council Moore?
Council Moore has a full left turn.
yeah, they got a full
They
left.
have a left in and a left out. They can do whatever they want to out of that.
So you gave Council Moore, it says directional on mine.
Well, here's what
Okay.
what you call directional. It's a full for if you're on the Council Moore side.
Okay, so why does this
It doesn't
small
act like a
business-
full.
Why does this small business that's no longer in existence get a full?
Which small business?
The,
Far left. The one I was just pointing at, that's on.
far left.
It's to accommodate U-turns and other, specifically,
Well, why couldn't they do a U-turn at Council Moore? I mean, I'm just.
they can,
I'm
we
just
can take,
pointing out-
if you don't want it, we'll take it out.
I'm just trying to, no, I'm trying to figure out why, because there's you get further.
When we
north, there's
space
places-
them, basically, we have to basically put one in the middle.
As the way I see it, you probably put that U-turn there, if you're going south on 319, you put that U-turn there so that
Get to that business.
you can catch two businesses, there's two possible business areas right there, you can catch them on the right.
Correct.
That's probably the
Because
reason.
invariably, as we go through this,
Right.
and before this is built, there will be other businesses built, and they're going to have the same questions. You're not going to be able, we can accommodate exactly what's there today, but what happens if somebody builds a few hundred feet either way?
Greg, go back.
See what I'm saying, then we can get there.
This one here?
Yeah, you saying that between here and the next one up, this is roughly equal distance in the middle. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what you're
Yeah.
finding reason.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could do a U-turn here to get to there and there.
Correct.
But the reason it's there is because it's halfway between the other two.
Correct. And there was, in that, really what we're governed by, I have to have, for full openings, if we don't meet the criteria, we have to get a variance, which is not that big a deal. I have to get it approved.
So
Directionals, I have leeway as an engineer. I can kind of put directionals in locations.
So what's the
Right.
distances for the full openings?
1320 feet. But there, like I said, Harvey has a full, and the next full really is that full median
For
opening.
those of us that come from the drag race world, that's a quarter of a mile.
What about?
You wasn't down here in that race this weekend.
The directional basically has, like for example, that directional is going to have a, like a bit of a pork chop in the middle where you, basically you're going to have to go left. You're going to have to be able to turn in and turn out, but somebody that was directly across the street couldn't come across that median. It doesn't give full access from both sides.
Would Trice Lane be an example of that? That has the pork chop, it's a right in, right
Yes.
out only?
Kind of, but it's harder, when you don't have a median there, it's hard to, on a two-lane road.
So that's the way Council Moore is gonna be? So
Well, no, you
if
can
you're
turn
heading
left.
south,
You
still
can turn left into Council Moore and left out. So really, it doesn't affect you at all
Okay.
for traffic
Full
coming.
median opening.
It's directional, but only because it has a pork chop in there. Let's just say, for giggles, Tasty Freeze or something business came right across the street, they would have to permit to take that pork chop out if they wanted that to be a full
Where's the
opening.
pork chop going? Is it going right here?
Right in the middle.
Right here?
Yes, right in the middle.
Okay, so when you come out,
You're going to make a left.
you go left or you go right?
Right.
Right.
Or you can make a left in.
Oh, I see what he's saying, yeah.
Here you go left in, here you go right.
It's full access, yeah.
If there was an existing business there, we probably would consider putting a full.
Right.
Right now.
The pork chop's gonna go in the median.
Yes.
Right, I got you. Okay.
So, and, so when you go up to Brim Fountain, that's,
Brown cut of meat with the bone.
that's a square, that's not a pork chop, right?
Brim Fountain is going to let opposing lefts in. And basically, if you were on the, it'd be the east side of Brim Fountain, you wouldn't be able to go straight across.
You won't be able to turn
You can turn right,
right,
and you can,
you couldn't turn left,
yeah, turn right.
turn right.
Yep.
Turn right, coming out of Brim Fountain?
Mm-hmm.
This way.
Is there gonna be enough room at the stoplight, at the courthouse room, to do a U-turn then?
Yes, from here.
Mm-hmm.
I know where it's at, you can't get there from here.
Like I said, this is, we're at 30, we're going to 60. Like I said, if y'all have comments with staff, we can certainly work with making changes. What we're trying to do is accommodate the most people
Well, there was-
and the most business residents.
There was a lot of grief when the state put in that stoplight at the McDonald's there in that median cut. I remember Dan Shepherd and the Badcock, but I guess, it all worked out.
Yeah, that's probably the most heartache we'll see is out of when we put this median up, people having to change the way they're used to having free movements.
U-turns instead of take lefts.
And it's hard to explain to somebody that U-turns are safer, but, they've proven it. There's studies, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying there's plenty of studies that say that's a safer way to go than to have direct conflicts
Also safe
head
for
on.
pedestrians to cross the road, right?
Obviously, there'll be a signal at MLK in there, and there'll be a signal.
What about Mary Catherine's place? I know you're.
Mary
Yep,
Catherine,
yeah, they've got issues.
they've got
Well,
issues.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, giddy up.
You're in trouble now.
That's right.
We have a business right here, it's an existing business.
Mhm.
And it has big trucks in twice a day.
Yeah, we have delivery trucks, giant semis that come in twice a day. Now, or twice a week.
Okay.
So if you are twice, well, maybe, twice a week.
Let's just agree that there's
Yeah,
trucks
and then-
coming.
There's trucks coming in.
Truck.
You are coming down this way to get into our business according to this map. You cannot turn left into our business, which sits right here. If you want to go into our business, you've got to know the business is there when you're up here at this light, so that you know to turn here and then come up. And for existing customers who know us and have been here for 5 years, that's okay, possible. A lot of our business is impulse traffic coming from Tallahassee. They don't know anything about this area. So they will come through here, they will not know that we're here when they're right here. We're a coffee shop, a deli, a grocery store. A lot of our businesses are coffee. When they come through here, they're gonna come by and say, look, there's coffee, but they can't get
See it,
in.
but we can't get to it.
They can't get to it.
Other than go to the light and do a U-turn and come back.
Which they're not gonna do probably. They're gonna keep going and say, don't worry, there'll be something else further down the road. Well, that's too much trouble. So if they don't go down here and U-turn to come back, but if they say, we can just cut down this little side road and get there, and then all of a sudden, there's a one-way street right here that doesn't go that way, so they can't get there.
Can
So-
they U-turn at the light?
They could U-turn at the light, but a lot of people won't do that. They're not gonna do it. And that's an intersection, you know what I mean? The thing about it is you're cutting off a large portion of our traffic that finds us on impulse. And this for us is an issue. Now, you've got a thing right here, and I know you're gonna say that you can't put a cut right here, Maybe it's too close to this intersection, I don't know. But it seems like you could do a little median cut either here, or possibly take this way, put it in front of
Behind
Hardee's,
the cemetery.
have a median cut right there.
That side.
That would allow people to come to Hardee's and come to us.
It's not there now.
Hardee's has to be
Is that right?
So this is our issue, we are in a lot of
I think it's there now.
if this happens, if you can't get to us from the left, if you can't make a left turn, it's really gonna hurt all of us.
I really like her idea, the latter part that Mary Catherine said, where you go up and make the cut in front of Hardee's, realign that.
Realign it this way.
Now,
Cemetery.
We can't go through the cemetery.
Here's
No,
our-
it's not there.
It's not cemetery.
Privately owned
There's
parcel
a
there.
triangle right here.
Yeah.
It is not the cemetery. You could come over, if this is too close to that
He just
intersection,
had to buy his property.
you just come over a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
put it right there.
Now, Ken Curtin owns that corner, so.
Or a median.
Billboard there.
Right.
I'm just saying that this
Best
is
idea.
very bothersome to us, because we have invested a lot of money in this business. We are local people who've been here for a long time. This is our livelihood, this is my livelihood.
You did a big renovation of that building too.
We did a big renovation, and not only will you cut off access to our building, but if that happens and we have issues with our business and can't stay open, we can have a hard time selling that location or renting that location, because people are gonna say, why would I do that when you can't turn left to get into that business? You can't turn left to get in. So it's gonna affect us that way too, and I don't know, I just feel like maybe, I don't know how far along and how concrete this whole thing is, but if we could come up with some way to allow us to just make a left turn right here, it would be huge for us.
Is that something that's doable?
We can talk to DOT. I'll have to look at
Well,
the,
let's take an example of Dan's place, okay? When they put the stoplight there, that median, I think he's only had stacking for 3 or 4 cars, it's not big. So that would be a comparable, because there's plenty of stacking there, I think, for left turn onto MLK, it looks like.
yes.
That's a pretty good distance, it really is.
Yes, I'm saying that's a lot further than is up there at the McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because once you come back, you start the suicide lane. That's why I told Dan is pave your driveway going into your old movie rental place, because he had the same concern, people couldn't turn left. So he moved his driveway back. What I'm saying is, if it's within standards, I think the easiest thing to do would be to extend that stack on that turn lane and put a median cut there. It would only need to stack 1 or 2 cars, but
Yeah.
if it's doable, and acquire that property.
What's wrong with the suicide lane through downtown? Because it's not only her business that's gonna be
That's right.
affected like that. And trucks bringing deliveries, I know to our salon, park in the suicide lane because it's
That's
too
right.
tight getting in and out.
That's
It would
over
be
my
better
head.
through downtown, just put a suicide lane instead of a median.
Here's the other point I want to make now, but if we're trying to make Crawfordville downtown a place for people to come and visit those businesses and make this a viable downtown area, but you're making this a freeway, highway, there's a fly through there, they can't, it's not friendly to the businesses, so that to me just defeats the whole purpose of a downtown friendly area. You're losing that friendliness. You're cutting people away from the small businesses. And I just think that's a opposite of what we're trying to do with this, which is to try to make Rockville a community place, not a place where you can't get to places and where you're just gonna speed on through because it's too complicated to try to get into these places. So, and I agree, it's not just us, there's a lot of people that will be affected.
Since that's a new road that you're cutting in there,
This is not.
what's the, yeah, I'm not talking about that one, I'm talking about the one to the right that they hadn't put in yet. Why, since where she's talking about is a right angle into the highway, why not just eliminate the road that you got pictured there and work everything off the point where she's talking about? If you,
The distance between the lights is very important for signal optimization. And that design that you see has been it was in the previous design and it was put on the shelf. 15 years ago, or 12. This is exactly what was shown back then.
The service Shadeville Road. Since this is still a right angle to this road, basically just don't do this one and keep this.
The distance between the distance between those signals is too close. They won't function.
So this is too close to the signal.
I think the thing to ask for is the median cut.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the, I'll be honest with you, that's the best solution if we can maybe shorten the left turn movement onto MLK and get a left turn in there. If that's desire of the commission, I can certainly work with the department. See, the Mary Avenue realignment, that was actually, DOT purchased that property based on that previous, it's probably none of y'all sitting on this commission at that time, but I was involved in it, and they really wanted, so,
Be here forever.
yeah.
That's where they bought that old trailer park for the Lacey Park, that stormwater pond, too, right?
Yeah. So not that they demanded it, it was just part of this whole thing. There's a whole big change, there's been a whole bunch of
A lot of water
changes.
under the bridge
Yeah.
since that was originally. The nature of Wakulla County was changed.
Do you think that's doable, have the median cut for the old 61 there?
I think it's doable.
Good.
That's why we have these
Good.
workshops, Mary Kay.
So,
Don't talk past the close.
You're all right. Now we know who your brother gets it from.
She doesn't cut.
which one will roll that?
He gets flustered too.
We're a long way from there, Mary Catherine, but this is where you need to put the input in, and we'll remember this, and hopefully we'll,
He said it
we'll
sounded
take it
good.
away, so,
He's not the DOT, but
I mean, you're doing the right thing.
We can certainly, you know, I think we can work something out. You know, there's,
Free muffins for all.
it would need enough stacking to fit a large truck, obviously.
Let me say one thing to the suicide lane all the way through, because I had thought about that too, but it's ugly. It really is 5 lanes of asphalt, and it's ugly. So we're gonna have to make it where it's friendly for everybody, and there's gonna be some growing pains, but I think, and I want it to be friendly. I want it to be where we can build a downtown where people don't just fly through our community but want to stop
You're
and
not
shop.
gonna build it with
Well,
limited turn.
but you can't have 5 lanes of asphalt. That's gonna be
Right.
ugly.
Well, and you're gonna have a safety issue too. You're gonna be people crossing.
Right.
You're not gonna be able to allow parking in the median because you have 2 lanes of
Hey,
traffic
Cap, we
across.
went through great pains to avoid exactly what you're talking about,
Right.
which was a freeway like. Because when DOT first came, they said, we're gonna do a design speed of 45 miles an hour.
What are they now?
35, I think.
35, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so we've
and
purposely slowed it down.
There was no sidewalk, it was truly gonna be a freeway in order to get a certain kind of funding, which is SIPs. Right, Strategic Intermodal System, SIS funding.
mhm.
Right, Kelsey? Okay. But anyway, we nixed that idea, well, we didn't nix it, it didn't work out, we all, I don't know how many meetings we've been through, say we want a real sense of a community, at least in the Crawfordville area. That's why they narrowed the right-of-way section from 200 feet down to 100, right there,
Yeah,
down to
rough,
Walmart.
yeah.
And they're spending a lot of money to squeeze this road into that 100-foot right-of-way.
No,
So-
I appreciate it.
And the landscaping, for example, that's something I, beat my head against the wall for, to have some nice trees in the middle of the road instead of just being asphalt.
Grass.
Or-
I'm
Because
glad you're doing
that
something about it. We didn't know that.
really irks me there at the McDonald's, you got all these medians, they're just concrete that grow weeds and grass in them, and nobody mows them or sprays Roundup on them, so.
And we're going to try to have safe crossings like at Mary. We'll have pedestrian signals. At MLK we'll have signals, and they've asked us to look at maybe adding another pedestrian crossing in the park that maybe even be signalized.
Yeah.
So that's working with the department on that, and to make that happen during this project. So hopefully we have several locations that are safe places for people to travel along the road on sidewalk and then cross at designated locations that are safer.
How many turn access do you have around Ace and those businesses up to McDonald's?
Be the next
That'd be the next slide.
Yeah.
path, there's Ace right there.
How many turn-ins in all those businesses? They're stacked.
There's a directional at Mimosa. There's Myrtle has a full. Taft has a directional. Holly has a directional. Basically, I gave just about access to everybody I physically could because I've been working on this project for 20 years, the previous design, and I listened to people at probably 8 public meetings. And I have heard it, I've heard it.
Well, you've named off roads, you're gonna have to turn on those roads and then get back to like 8.
Right across from Myrtle, there's a full opening.
I mean, listen,
Okay.
I still don't believe it.
So all the auto parts stores, they've got full openings going into them?
Looks like Ace has a left turn lane.
Ace has a full, Taft has a directional.
And then you go down.
Well, you got Ace and then the tire store beside them,
Get to them from-
Myra Jeans, all those stores have turn lanes in there? Or you gonna
No,
have,
the only turn lane is in Ace.
so how will you get to Myra Jeans?
You're going to Myra Jeans, you go in at Taft, which is past the tire store.
Yeah,
And
that's
turn
right.
down, there's gonna be a, turn in like to get to Winn-Dixie, the back way's still gonna be open?
Yeah, the back way to Winn-Dixie.
And then Winn-Dixie
The
has
other
one as
side
well.
also.
And Winn-Dixie has an opening as well.
Yeah, and that's a pork chop, so you can turn either way at Taft.
You cut Winn-Dixie down to one access, right?
Yeah,
Which I personally think is a good idea, because there's
Exactly.
5 or 6 driveways
It
coming out
needs to
right
be
there.
one.
yeah, we're trying to clean up that because it is just a mess of just people can go every which way, and that's where accidents occur.
Yeah, a lot of accidents right there.
Now, you acquired any right of way on Myrtle right there to do what you're doing right there?
We're staying off the park. Part of our creed is to stay, and
Right here, correct.
right. There will be on those 2 parcels there. In order to get those intersections a little further away from Crawfordville to make it safe, yes, on that corner.
Did that at both ends of the park, right?
Correct.
How much further out are you moving it?
We haven't set the right of way yet, but I'm sure it'll be at least 20 feet. It'll be from that corner, from the worst point probably.
Because that's gonna catch people when they're trying to turn, all of a sudden somebody's coming out. If you've ever been, when you're campaigning over there, you see it.
Yeah,
there
you
by the
need to
park.
get at least
They'll
2
stop
vehicles
people from
when
waiting
they
on
make
the
a
sidewalk.
Yeah,
left.
it's not at least 2 vehicles.
At least 1 or 2 vehicles where they can turn off, where they can, to get on the road.
Well, and also what this stresses is, as you can see, if you're trying to clean all this up downtown, is where we're, on planning and zoning, we connect all the parking lots together in downtown. That's where this comes into play, is you've got an access one access can access 5 or 6 or 7 businesses, and without having to get back out onto the main road.
So we're gonna start requiring that?
Well, that's,
If we do it
that's
now,
part of, we
we
do
can.
it now, yeah.
Didn't do it at,
Yeah.
AutoZone.
And,
Didn't require it at that time.
that didn't require it, now it's required, so,
They do it at Zaxby's, Taco Bell,
right.
the other parts store. I thought we did require the new AutoZone to at least leave.
There's an easement there, if
to
I'm not
leave an easement
mistaken,
where it
right,
could be tied in, we did require that.
I
right.
remember, arguing that we should do it, and
Yeah,
we didn't do it.
No, it was done.
no, it was done.
There's an easement there, there's an easement.
Right.
It's not built, but the,
There's an easement there to build it, yes.
like the McDonald's, they don't want to go too far back. When they did that, we made them tie on the backside between McDonald's, was the movie gallery, Winn-Dixie, all that stuff where you can get off to Taft all the way over to Wakulla and through their back parking lot.
I guess we can back up and go through town. Kind of where we ended. Like I said, Mary would have a full, Dogwood. I believe it's a directional either way. Basically, you can make a left in to Dogwood, heading south, you'd be able to make a left, and then going north, you'd make a left into Dogwood.
Dogwood, it looks like
And that's a pork chop at Cedar.
Left turn.
You make a left out and a left in at Cedar.
South, so you have to enter righty.
Holly, you'd make a left in or left out. Mimosa, basically just a left in. The park's on the opposite side. Myrtle is a full opening currently. Taft, is left in and left out. And we figured there'd be some trucks and for delivery trucks having to go in and out. There's a full opening, Winn-Dixie, and then obviously there's a signal at Wakulla Aaron.
Back up, Greg, if you will. to-
Sure.
Where's Sonic?
Yeah.
Sonic doesn't have anything.
So you turn right going north, or you can't get in there from coming from north,
Next one up, Greg,
going south?
going north, right there.
They're right there on that far, on the
Yeah.
left edge of the page.
Right where, Cedar comes out, right?
They are, and they are they would require a U-turn to get into the business. And they are not happy about it.
Blame 'em.
So, and the main reason is that left, in order to give them a left in, you'd have to do away with the access at Cedar. Because of the left turn in, and so, and that was the same way 15
Well, I
years
go
ago.
back to the gas station up there heading to Tallahassee, you know, everybody used to go to the one on the left where they four-lane and put that median in there, but the world hasn't come to an end. They're still busy.
So Cedar is a left or right out?
It's a left in, left out, currently. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine.
I've got correspondence from them from 15 years ago where they're not happy. They wrote the secretary and everybody in the, so. I think we've already went over Taft, so left in, left out. There's a signal at Wakulla Aaron. There is a left in still for that secondary entrance.
Any
Walgreens.
right-of-way acquisition on Wakulla Aaron, correct?
We're going to limit it as much as possible, but we haven't said, it's tight. It is very tight. So,
I mean, there's no room really for a left and a right turn lane there, which we really should have, coming from the sheriff's department out. Because that's gonna be one of our major roads, Wakulla Aaron is, heading that way, heading out of Crawfordville.
and we're open that maybe that Trice Lane would take over that because we are realigning Trice there.
Mhm.
I mean, that's close to an arterial road, really, Wakulla Aaron is anymore. You know, I may be exaggerating a little bit, but it's certainly a
Busy.
major collector.
What are you gonna do at Trice Lane? How are you gonna realign that?
It's realigned as you see there, instead of coming in at an angle, it's basically,
Ivan Church lines up with it, or?
Nope.
It's further away from it.
actually, the Ivan Church South lines up with Rainbow.
That allows you to have full access to Ivan Church and Trice Lane, right?
Yep.
Where it's
And I
Trice.
actually had to go back and, I actually had to,
Realign in Ivan Church too.
I've got
It's gonna be stacking
turn
up.
lanes, I had to widen the median a little bit,
We
just to fit
actually
it.
tried to limit Trice Lane to make everybody go to the light.
But it backs up so much, you know, y'all can tell me, it backs up quite frequently, you know, in the morning, all right?
Yeah, but with a big left turn lane, it may not be as bad. So you're thinking you're gonna try to get people on the Trice, down to that four-way stop sign to avoid the light.
Yes, I would. If I'm driving into that, if I'm gonna go the way you're talking about, Randy, if you're gonna go east.
Paul wanted to say, ask something, Paul?
Going to my store, going north, so they have to go to the light and then come around, or the median is still coming?
He's right here, Greg.
Where at?
This is Mr. Paul.
Okay?
We breakfast here, right, Paul?
They're gonna need to turn at the full median right before and go in, if they can access it, but probably they're gonna go through the light. They're gonna go through the light.
Come from what direction?
Which direction, yeah?
Because there's gonna be a sidewalk right here. Correct. Right, how about his existing driveway coming?
He'll get his driveway back. We're gonna, we won't take away driveway.
You'll still have it.
Well, it's not, yes. This is where the median cut right now goes right down here, right? Correct. That's why I told Dan to go that driveway. So he has a driveway right here, but they're no longer gonna be able to do that, right?
No.
They're gonna have to go up and go in. So how do
They can't access from 319 at all on his
Still get to
property?
here,
On the right hand, if you're coming north, they'll right hand turn
they have
into
to
it.
go and do a U-turn. Right?
But, I mean, is there a driveway cut?
That's what we're
Yeah,
talking.
the driveways will be there.
Yeah.
So the driveway, the access to the road, we can't deny
It's
them.
not a median cut, yeah.
Anybody that wants to get to the old Deckers, all right? What is it now? Cedars, huh?
Is that Bell's? That's Bell's. You buy all your clothes there, Randy.
You don't buy clothes.
There's a full opening there.
said Goodwill.
Here into the back. You have to go up, come back, and go to the back.
Yeah, if they're not interconnected on that side street, yes.
They are in the back.
Unless you're a bank robber, then it's.
The way I see it, nothing's gonna change for
No,
them.
that's at the light, that's very difficult. That's already a fairly short left turn storage. We can't eliminate that median there.
At this level, you're gonna have a right in, and a right out.
If you're going south.
But normally, people at a light will make a U-turn more frequently than they
Come
will.
out and go back here. He has to go either this way or he has to come out here.
Correct.
To the light.
Yes, sir.
Come out here and go down
If you sold it, I would do it. I would do a parking lot agreement like Winn-Dixie has with the movie gallery, what used to be a movie gallery, whatever. They just, where they can drive across. Like this, you know. But they're not gonna put a median cut to get to that driveway, where the old video store was. I can probably tell you that. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Here's, Catherine's a lot further away from the light.
Working now.
Yeah,
Same distance from the light is working now.
our design year is 20 years out, and what they're saying is just the growth. We're trying to design for 20 years in the future, and that's where what we've got hopefully will last 20 years.
I have to be there for 20 years.
Like the Badcock, for example, if you're southbound, you wanna get to the liquor store, well, liquor store got access. This right here,
Does not.
Liquor store doesn't have access.
No, they're gonna have to make a U-turn.
this is a
No, that's that's only gonna allow left in.
So that's a left turn.
That's
In.
back to Walgreens.
Walgreens, or whatever. So if you wanna get to the liquor store right here. Great idea. You're gonna have to go. all the way down here. Okay, well, you're sick.
And of course,
Ow, it's back
that's
there.
gonna be right in,
Mhm.
right in and right out.
Yes, sir.
All of that and that both is gonna be, have to come down and come in.
It'll all be all right in, right out, all the way down to,
Well, the good thing, like I said, the good thing about a signal is it's gonna have a dedicated left, and it'll allow you to make that U-turn, and you'll have your own.
Half full access,
Learn the new pattern.
not a full
When
one.
they put that red light at
Well, at there, I would just call it right in, right out. It's just right in, right out. Although if you happen to be next to a light that helps you. So gives you gaps and gives you a green arrow. So that's the beauty of that.
Almost complete stop down the old road.
And as we move forward,
Songbird Avenue, okay.
there's full access there.
We had them line that up when they first were doing Songbird, those weren't gonna be lined up. Remember, we made them line it up with the road across the street. At some point, somebody's gonna develop that corner right there, and it'll be a pretty big commercial.
Yeah, that'll be very helpful that's lined up. It's always good to line them up. Otherwise, we end up having to buy right away normally.
No. It'll warrant one in the future, but not right now. That's being designed where it could have a stop light. Yeah,
yep.
Yes.
yeah.
There's gonna be probably 20 stores in here, right here.
Yeah, that's what I was telling you about. We can design to what's out there today, and as soon as we do that, you blink and something changes. And during construction or later in our design phase, we end up having to relook at stuff. So,
So what are you planning, the turn right there after Osceola Loop Court? What's that one for?
that is for the FSU Credit Union. So,
So like I was saying earlier, the Songbird is set up for easily put a future traffic light there, right?
Correct.
Got left turns both ways.
definitely.
There it is.
There's a full at McAllister.
That's
Yes. Oh, man, there.
Bellamy's right there, right? Isn't Owen on the corner of McAllister?
Strickland.
There's Walmart, Harvey
That's east.
States Road.
Yeah, it's like a,
Where's the
it's a
Taco
small
Bell
spot.
and all that right now?
Preston Circle, all right, here we go. Taco Bell is right here.
Okay, that's Bellamy's right
Oh, it's right here, right?
there.
This is the shopping center where Vico Brady's was. That's Charlie's, that's Quick Lube.
That's Quick Lube?
And
Oh, it's right here? What are these?
this is your motorcycle further south.
He's further south. Bellamy
Anyway,
says.
where Charlie's at and all these guys, they're not gonna have any access,
They're going to make U-turns. It's going to be right in, right out.
they're not gonna be able to go left coming out. And nobody heading southbound will be able to get into their business at all, right?
Without making a U-turn.
They have to go down here and come back.
That's why we have those, they're fairly, as close as we can put them and meet.
Just out of curiosity, why is this here? Harvey States, there's nothing there. They, not even a road there.
We just, because I had one there, I was just putting another U-turn where it's even closer for people. I could fit one in.
All right, so that's there just because it's
Yep.
roughly equidistant here.
Just,
but then
just where people don't have to go as far to make a,
There's
to try to turn around. Yeah, there's another business going in. I saw, you know, they're leveling the pad
Car wash.
last week. So,
You're gonna have people saying that DOT put a turn lane there for that Goo Car Wash. But you're not. You didn't know, you don't care what's going on.
No, it's
You
nice to
designed
know
it
they're there,
so
but it's nice to know there, but like I said, it'll change next year. It'll change 5 times. I mean, it's growing. This community's growing. There's no doubt about it. And we try to accommodate everyone we can.
You have to
And,
turn on Preston. You can still take on Preston Circle north, right? If you're southbound, you can turn in. If you're northbound, you can turn in, right? Right here.
on
Where the
Preston
old,
Circle.
where the old Beef with Brady's was.
Here,
Correct.
this has
Yes.
full access.
Yes.
This way and that way. This one only has, you cannot
Right
turn
in,
in,
right out.
but if you're coming north, you can't turn
No,
left
correct.
to get into Jackson. You gotta go,
Correct.
you wanna go to
You gotta go
Jackson?
up. You have to go up.
Go around Horse.
Eventually, there'll be connectivity, yeah.
You go around the circle. You connected all these parking lots together, Chuck. So if you want to get to Jackson, you can turn in here and go across.
Does it go all the way to the credit union, the connection?
I think it does.
Yeah.
She said she drove.
People gonna be trying to do a U-turn right there.
You can't get to Zaxby's. Originally, you couldn't get from Zaxby's.
From Preston.
It's either that or give them full access on 2 roads, and you're trying to keep the access points a little further apart.
Trying to meet the standard as best possible.
Safety
It-
standard.
it is- Yes.
If someone's coming north, not here, they cannot make a U-turn and go back.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
They can.
Oh, yes.
Why they like trying to do it. As long as they make it.
Yeah, eventually, once that builds out, they'll be able to go parking lot to parking lot to parking lot, or they can go behind, loop up, and back around.
You can do the Preston Circle, go to the back.
Yeah, you get the Preston Circle, and eventually, as it develops out, which is close now, because if you think about it, you got the Taco Bell in there, you're probably one business now away from being able to connect all the way back through.
You get any static out of Burger King?
Not yet, but
Well, those people, I tell you, Owen and Burger King, they're gonna have a fit, yeah.
Yep.
If you come through this light, you can come down here.
Goodwill is down here.
Yeah.
There's a bunch out there. What about out of Aaron Strickland Road? That's a huge subdivision back there. A lot of traffic.
you're talking about further
I
back.
think McAllister is what you have is there. No?
Yeah.
Aaron Strickland
Well,
Road.
if you're doing Aaron
Bellamy's.
Strickland, that's gonna be a problem because it's not,
It's right
it doesn't
there.
allow a
It's right
left
there.
turn.
It's on the
It's-
far right.
Yeah, it's right there.
That doesn't allow a left turn
Well,
coming out of Aaron Strickland.
they go all the way down to,
Is that correct, coming in Aaron Strickland, you cannot?
Currently,
turn left?
but you think definitely gonna need it?
yeah. I mean, that's a lot of folks live back there.
Yeah.
That needs a pork chop instead of that square.
Yeah, does need a pork chop.
Okay.
So you're saying have people from Aaron Strickland be able to turn south?
Yes. Be able to turn south or north, but they need to be able to
Okay.
They need to be able to turn left going in there, coming
There's a
south.
lot more people come out of there than come out of McAllister. McAllister really has nothing,
No, McAllister has
Yeah.
very little.
very little on it.
Where down through there will you have your lights, your red lights?
They're going to be at Walmart, and as we go south at Wakulla, Aaron,
And we'll call Aaron?
Mary.
That's already there.
Yep, Mary, and
The only additional
Okay.
one is right here at Shakeville, the
Where's Mary?
relocation of Shakeville. That's the only additional one that they'll be putting in.
Which is right here.
Right here, that's right, where they're
We've already-
realignment.
We've already got this light.
We got this light, then they're gonna realign it Shadeville just past the cemetery
To Mary.
to Mary, at Mary, realign Shadeville there.
And there'll be a light
They'll
there.
out there.
Okay. And then two more.
And then, yeah, whatever else is here.
We've got about 10 minutes left. Any
Yeah.
other citizens like to come up, comments, questions?
I got a question. Where's the utilities
we'll find locations. We did, this similar design was done 15 years ago, and we found a location for all of them, but it was tight. I'm not going to lie to you, it's tight.
going? Is it going on the sides of where the sidewalk and all the shrubbery is going?
It'll
like
be out there. It'll be on the outside, usually. There'll be some under the sidewalk. Normally, utilities will not, I've seen them under bike lanes, but normally
This is,
they will not to.
this is why we need to make every effort to get those utilities off that road.
Yeah, but this, guys, happens everywhere all across the United States. It's nothing new.
But if there is a
Put
way.
it where you gotta put it.
If there's a parallel corridor, we can run forward.
That's right, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna try to pull all our sewer off if we can. Everywhere we can.
What kind of
When you say pull your sewer off of it,
This is the only
what are
thing
you
under right now.
talking about?
Put the force mains on back roads, put gravity collection in where we can, and reduce and reroute it off of 319 if possible.
Once we finish design.
Where we can. You can't do it everywhere. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
2 years. It's hard to say. I don't have a crystal ball. You have any idea, Clay?
It's not on the 5-year work plan right now, Gordon, but I'd say 5 to 7 years. It's gonna get done.
7 years.
5 to 7 means we save and hope to have good years for 5 to 7, and then try to sell it to somebody that don't know what they're getting.
It may be longer than that,
So this is not funded yet, though, is it? The
No,
acquisition?
right-of-way acquisition is not even funded. Last time let me put it in perspective. Last time they designed that road out there, it sat on the shelf for 20 years?
It's been a long time. I designed it originally. It's been a long time.
But they're actually building on the north end. They're gonna build that road from there to the high school, period. And
North end's funded, isn't
Hey,
it?
Yeah.
I just hope they do a lot better job in Crawfordville than they did in the Medard intersection.
our job is to try to get them to do it as quickly as possible.
Well, Medard's become a drag strip. You go down there, 2 cars turn left going towards Crawfordville, outside, inside, just like a drag strip.
Yeah, that's going to be a different typical there. That's a suburban and even a rural typical. We're going to have urban, the curb and gutter and curb and
Sidewalks on both sides of the
That
road.
naturally slows down some, but you do have to police it. There's no doubt about it. You get
What our,
people that just want
what our dream would be, Greg, was for DOT to fund all underground utilities, but that's probably not gonna happen.
Well, I can't speak to that.
Right, Chuck?
That would be real nice, yeah.
Put all electricity, everything underground. That'd be
Be
awesome.
nice.
Ask for a grant.
That'd be a good, triumph
What
project.
everybody says, that's right.
Gotta spend $60 million.
Then I won't have anything to hang Gary's Christmas decorations on.
But I will say, we will be having a public meeting for everyone here, and you'll have an opportunity, and we'll have better blow-ups and names.
Do
and-
you have any of those video openings, photos showing where they're all going?
We can, they've got a copy of this, and they can put it on the website. It's a public record, and if you need something,
There's one at your place, Tommy. You're at
You're-
Holly, right?
You're at Holly, you've got, left in, left out.
Okay.
Anyone else?
All right.
Any other citizens? Further discussion? Anyone?
So this goes past Walmart, right?
correct.
And then, is this where you go back out to the 200 foot
We're
right-of-way
tying to
section?
that, to the AECom. Their plans stop right where ours stop. We basically are
Then it
meshing.
goes out to the 200 foot right of way? That becomes the
It
rural.
starts right there after East, yeah, right after East Ivan. I think it transitions.
Okay, past East Island is where it narrows down.
Mhm.
And that really fits with our Crawfordville town plan, right? Does it go from Summer?
That's correct. It ends at East Ivan.
Yeah, but you're gonna really kill that business, that strip mall north of Walmart, because they've gotta go all the way up to East Ivan to turn around.
They're dead anyway.
No, they haven't.
They're buying that one. That's the one John Schuff's involved in.
No,
No,
not
no,
that
no,
one.
this is the one with the.
Where
Maurice is.
Hibbets is.
Because they've gotta go down to Walmart or up to, East Ivan to turn around and get into it.
I would have thought you would have been taking the Hibbett, the shopping center there across from Walmart, more or less.
They only need 100 foot of right of way.
You're right away. Well, they're taking John's.
John's is a lot
He's
closer
in the
this
200
way.
foot section.
Okay.
This is in the narrow section.
Okay.
That's why businesses aren't gonna get affected much at all,
Yeah.
other than access.
But you still have no access to that one.
There is no access to that. We could put basically a left, allow a U-turn, but that's,
They don't have.
there wouldn't be a direct left in.
They
It
have
just won't
parking.
fit because of that secondary access for Walmart there.
It's just thinking out loud, Greg, is there any way they could put a left turn at Hudson if they got some sort of agreement to be able to drive across?
Sure. I actually contemplated putting one there, but I've looked at that business and it really doesn't give you access. They'd have to make a U-turn.
Well,
And they do have a
unless
U-turn.
they had some sort of agreement to get from that strip mall over to the Hudson Drive, But I'm sure they don't have an agreement, because there used to be a Mexican restaurant there, and
So you saying doing a U-turn at Hudson?
Well, there's no access there, so something's gonna have to either one of them's gonna have to get access to the other if you put a,
I'm assuming there's gonna
A meeting
be,
cut.
the other group has a turn though at East Ivan, right? Can you
Yes, it's full.
U-turn there?
Yeah, there is, you can U-turn at East Ivan. So it's not that much farther, but it is farther.
well, it's,
All right, I got
Over your quarter
4:57.
Yep.
You wanna wrap it up?
We gotta wrap her up.
To adjourn. Stand adjourned. Thank you for giving us that presentation.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.